sharing with you. Her name is Michelle, and Michelle is going to share a little bit of her story. She's going to help give you guys some vision, awaken you to break through in many barriers in your life. So Michelle, I'm going to mute everybody, and then feel free to come off mute and say hello.
All right, I am so excited to be with all of you. Can you see me okay? All right.
You're golden.
Awesome. So I'm so excited to be here. I have been with Optavia for 2 years. And so this is my first time being on this, and I feel very honored, and so thank you so much. I am talking to you from my heart. I see a lot of you telling me your stories, and I just thought you needed to hear this tonight. So I hope that can make an impact in your journey. And so if you can get a pen and paper, I'm going to be giving you some things to do tonight. And I'm sorry, you know, I'm a teacher, I can't help it. And so we're going to do a little bit of work. So if you're busy or something, if you have the opportunity to sit down and really pay attention just for a little bit, I think I can help you move past some possible barriers that you might have. And if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. What is amazing tonight is I have a crew. This is so cool. Gina is on my crew. I feel special. So again, if you feel like you need to ask any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. And again, my name is Michelle Welcher. I am a certified health coach, and I was on program for about 9.5 months, and I dropped 102 pounds. And my life has been changed forever. Recently, because of what's going on, my daughter came home from college, and I chose to hop back on or be on program. So I hopped back on with her again. And so now I'm down a total of 111 pounds. So what I did when I was asked, you know, would you speak tonight? I was like, oh my gosh, this is an awesome opportunity. What can I do to help all of you? And so I really went to soul searching, and I wanted to find out why I was so successful. We have the program. The program is amazing. If you follow it, it's amazing. But we have this other piece that some of us might have some barriers to. And so what I would like to do tonight is show you what some of my barriers were, and show you some of the opportunities that I've had as a coach. We've had some amazing training, and so I put the two together, my journey and the training that I've had, and I'm going to share it with you tonight. So Gina, man, she's good. So I can't see that slide. There we go. Now we're going. Awesome. I love crews. This is awesome. All right. So as a coach, I've been able to have training for leadership, and training is done by an amazing woman. Her name is Helen Irwin. And when I was going back through my training, I realized that the leadership training actually corresponded to my health journey. So what Helen talks about is that we're like an iceberg. We have our behavior that everyone can see. So I'm going to gear this towards like our behavior towards food or our behavior towards health. And then underneath that waterline, we have beliefs, values, and identity. So if you can go to the next slide. So with beliefs, what is below the waterline impacts how we behave. This is huge because a lot of us aren't connected with what's below the waterline. And those are the things that affect our behavior. And when I started on program, I was like, I had hit bottom. I had lost my job as a principal. So I lost $30,000 a year. I lost my career because of a cruel superintendent. So I was put back into a classroom, and that classroom was with kids that are 7th through 12th grade that are all expelled. So I went from being a loved principal with elementary kids to gang and drug teacher. And it threw me for a loop. And then in addition to that, I had back surgery. So I had a spinal fusion and went through a divorce. It was a great time. But so what happened was I was identifying, or I became a person that had beliefs and values and an identity that was not getting me to where I wanted to go. So if you can go back to the next slide. So what we have our first circle there, and we have beliefs. So let's talk about our beliefs about food. All right, Gina, next slide. See, I'm so excited, I'm talking so fast. Sorry, guys. So, beliefs about food. So we have that pen and paper out. I would like you to do a little bit of work for me right now. I would like you to think about, what are your beliefs around food? Like for me, when I started program, I believed that I just had to eat everything on my plate. I believed that that I just couldn't get full. I needed large amounts. I needed more than one serving. I believed that healthy didn't taste great, which goes to that next question. Do you believe that healthy tastes great? And I didn't. I thought, when you tell me that somebody's a healthy eater, I was like, ew, that's like cardboard. And so those beliefs, we need to really identify them. And then, do you believe that family members could enjoy lean and greens? A lot of people that I speak to are taking their lean and greens and they're making it for them, and then they're making a separate meal for their family. So you're like segregating yourself. But which could cause a loss for you, because you're like, hey, I'm not eating with my family. And I have to tell you, if you go into any of your support thread or your support groups, what is in files in the album, there's some amazing recipes, family healthy recipes that everybody can enjoy. And then the last one is, do you feel you are missing out? Like, do you sit with a family and watch them eat something like, I don't know, ice cream or whatever, and do you go, gosh, I'm missing out? So one of the things I'm going to just quickly tell you that I learned when I first started this program was that our brain moves away from pain and towards pleasure. So if we are always looking at those things that we're not having currently, which they come back, by the way, in moderation, but if we're looking at those things that we're not having, and we're like, oh man, I want one of those. If you take that and you switch it around, and you switch it to that, whatever that is that you want, the ice cream or whatever, you switch it to pain. Because I was 252 pounds. At the age of 47, I was having trouble getting up off the ground. And I was physically in pain. I had plantar fasciitis. I couldn't, it was embarrassing where I had let my health go. That is true pain. And so when I looked at things like that, I would bring those into my mind. And because I did that, I was able to get away from it. So pain versus pleasure. All right, next slide. So we're going to talk a little bit about beliefs. I have my amazing coach, Elaine Burris, so I'd like to hand it over to her. By the way, that is her power suit that she's in right there. She has made an amazing transformation, and she's going to tell you about her beliefs.
All right, am I on? Can everyone hear me? All right, hi everybody. My name is Elaine, and I am about 1.5 years on program, and I just want to tell you a little bit about my health journey and my health beliefs. I have always been the big girl in class. I was 200 pounds at 10 years old, and both of my parents were obese, and I was taught habits of disease very early on. One of the beliefs was, oh, I'm big because I come from a big family. I'm big boned. I'm the big girl. I've always been the big girl. Went to college gained the freshman 20, then couldn't lose it. Tried doing triathlons. Don't do that. That's really hard on your body, especially if you're 220 pounds. Hurt my joints, didn't feel good. And you can't out-exercise bad eating habits. And then 2015 hit, and that's when I really went into crisis mode because of the California wildfires. I had really huge problems with my breathing. I think I breathed in some sort of ash, and my body went into crisis. I couldn't breathe, I couldn't talk, I couldn't sleep very well. My body was not getting enough oxygen to my brain or my body, so I would literally come home every day after work and nap, get up, eat, and go back to sleep because I couldn't breathe. And gained 50 pounds during that probably 6 months because I had no energy. And I remember looking at the dishes in the sink thinking, I don't even have enough energy to get up and do this right now. So I had nothing in the tank. And I started a program about at 275 pounds. And when you're at 275 pounds, you really can't feel like you can do anything because you have all of that extra weight on you and it's just truly weighing you down. So after 1 month of being on program, so at 225 pounds before I get there, I was pre-diabetic, I had sleep apnea, I had psoriasis, I had psoriatic arthritis, and like I said, not enough energy to do anything. And I came onto program, and within 1 month, all of my psoriasis disappeared off my body and off my skin. I saw internal healing. I'm now no longer lactose intolerant. I'm now lactose sensitive. I no longer have sleep apnea. I no longer have psoriatic arthritis. I'm no longer pre-diabetic. I no longer have skin issues. I've lost a total of 112 pounds. And I started coaching last May because I knew that if I didn't, I would 100% go back to my old unhealthy habits because I had no foundation for what a healthy life or a healthy weight was. So I really needed to give myself that push and to give myself the incentive to stay on track and not go back to where I was. And I'm not perfect. I didn't do this program perfectly. I don't think anybody does. But I did stall at about 200 pounds because I didn't know what that would look like. I had always been 200 pounds and there was fear there. There was a lot of fear there. What would that look like? Who would I be? I didn't know who I was going to be, but I really had to address that fear and that narrative and that belief system in my head that I had been telling myself and that I had been conditioned to believe. And underneath that narrative, oh, I'm the big girl, it was really just a fear of, I didn't believe that I could be this person that I am now. I didn't believe that I could be that girl in the bikini like I wish I could always been when I was 10 and at pool parties looking at all the other girls, wishing I could look like them in their teeny tiny little bikinis. And here I am in my one piece, wishing I could be the person I wanted to be that I am now. So, and that could be confident enough to wear that bikini, let alone post it on social media. So if you are somebody like me who has always been the big girl and you don't know, it's really possible that you can get through this and that you can talk yourself into and into a better belief, and you can get out of your own way and be the person you wish you could have been when you were 12. Because that's what my why was. I just wish I could have been that 12-year-old girl in that bikini, but I finally got to it. Here I am now. Next slide. So that's my story. Michelle, back to you.
Elaine, you're gonna make me cry, girl. So what all of you may not know is that Elaine is one of my really good friend's daughter. And you can go ahead and come back to me for a second, Gina. anyway, Elaine is a, well, you can go back to Elaine because she's cute. So Elaine is a friend's daughter who, she was hiding. She was hiding and wasn't the person that I knew she could be. And my decision to share my story has changed her life. And thank you, Elaine, for trusting me. And you're just beautiful, sweetheart, and I am so happy for you.
Thank you.
All right, now we can have a tear fest later. All right, back to the slides. Okay, so we have our behavior, we have our beliefs, and we just heard Elaine tell you an amazing story. And we have what's next is our values. So if you can go to the values slide. So what are your values? Value is one's judgment of what's important in life. And so I have a picture of my dad here, and some of you may not know this, but I volunteer for Canine Companions for Independence. And so that is my first puppy that is laying there with my dad. And my dad has since passed, but he taught me something truly valuable. And that is that your health is so, so important. So I want to ask you, is being healthy truly a value to you? And I want you to really think about it, because when coaches ask you, hey, what is your, why do you want to go on a journey? A lot of the people will say, I want to get healthy. But why? What is it behind that? So one of the things that, and the quote goes, it says this, it says that a person who is healthy has a million dreams, but the one that is not healthy has only but one. And that is so true. And I want you to really take that quote and just think about it. Do you want a million dreams, or do you only want one? All right, go to the next slide. All right, so we have values, we have beliefs, and then we have our identity. And that's what I'm going to touch on a little bit more tonight. Because the identity is where I changed greatly when I started on program. So I want you to ask yourself, how do you see yourself with regards to health? It's a deep question, actually, because you have the unconscious and you have the conscious. And a person is going to defend that, whether it's conscious or unconscious. They're going to defend their identity. And a lot of us have a fear of losing our identity. And sometimes we don't even know. So if you could go to that next screen. So I'm going to ask you tonight, what is your health identity? So I have 4 questions here. I'm going to read these quickly, but then I'm going to go through each one individually. So first one is, how do I view myself presently? So that is a question that I'd like you to ask yourself. How do you view yourself presently? The next one is, what aspects of my current identity could be holding me back from reaching my goals? And then based on this, what things are most important for me to change? And then to what level do I feel I can commit to changing the things on this list? So Gina, next slide. Thank you. So we have the first one. So I asked you, how do I view myself presently? So I have a picture of myself. So I went from habits of disease to habits of health. I could not ride my horse. I stopped riding because I was too heavy for her. What was amazing to me, though, was that I didn't know it. And my horse was kind of falling in the back end, like she would trip. And it was because I was so heavy. And that picture below in the water was one of my first times in a bathing suit, and I was on her, and it just felt amazing. So write down, when it comes to health, who am I? Like, really truly get into it. And then, do you eat well? If not, why not? Go to the next slide. So the next question that I had up there, what aspects of my current identity could be holding me back from reaching my goals? So that current identity that you just worked on, what stands out to you? And then I want you to ask yourself what no longer serves you. So the picture over to on the side, that is my back. I had 2 surgery sites. I have a spinal fusion. And I had the identity that of health that I didn't think that I could pick up things, I could do things, I could exercise. But when I dropped the 102 pounds, exercising felt amazing. And I was able to get into the gym and pick up weight. So next slide. All right, so now you have that list. And now what I'd like for you to do is, based on that list, what things are the most important for you to change? So I'd like you to assign a number of an importance to those things. And when I started my journey, I realized as a mom that I gave my eating habits to my child. And it hurt me as a mom because, you know, you want the best for your kids. But I sent my daughter off to college not knowing how to cook and not knowing how to be healthy. So it was so fun for me to see her transform. She's now dropped 50 pounds. And we are going to the Angus Nationals here in Oklahoma soon. So that's her showing over there. And I have to go get her a new belt because she's lost so much, which is so fun. So I'm so excited about that. Next screen. So lastly, what is your level of commitment? All of us were asked a question. Do you remember? Do you remember that question when your coach asked, on a scale from 1 to 10, how ready are you to make that change? And of course, you know, I had to throw Morrison up there because, like, his eyes look into your soul. He's just an amazing dog. But he's telling you that life book is so worth it. Open up your mind. Get into that subconscious or that unconscious and find out where those barriers are coming from, because it's so worth it. It truly is. So even if you were to just do a page or 2 a day, Dr. A has put a perfect system together for us, and that's an imperative part of the system. The next slide. So I wanted to share 2 of my favorite pictures that I've done. These are pictures that I post on Facebook because I want to share my story. I want to inspire somebody, and I hope that regardless of whether you are a coach or not, that you choose at some point in your journey that you choose to share it, even if you didn't want to be a coach. Share your journey, because there's tons of people that need to hear your story. So this first one with the dog, that's Morrison. I love him dearly. He's the most amazing dog. That's when I picked him up. And then the picture above with the sugar is right before I turned him in for him to be trained as a service dog. He decided he loved me so much that he came back to me, but that's another story. And then over to the right, that grain bag, the yellow one, is 70 pounds, and then that's dog food. So I was about 111 pounds there, which is amazing. I can't even pick it up. But all of you are capable of this. All of you can get to your goals. Just be willing to do that work that I helped you with tonight. And go ahead and you can go back to my face. I know my pictures are cute, but now we got Elaine back up there. Elaine's cute too, but I don't know. Can you get me back up there, Gina? Maybe. It's my crew. I'm going to have to fire my crew. All right. I just wanted to come to you tonight and tell you from my heart that all of you are all capable of doing what Elaine and I did. Lean on your coach. Lean to the system. The program works. Just be willing to just do that little bit of work. because health is worth it. You are worth it, and the feeling is amazing. So I just want to tell you guys, I love you all, and that is what I wanted to tell you tonight.
I love it, Michelle. And just so you know, Elaine, I hope that you were prepared because I had no idea that it was spotlighting you the whole time. So you're welcome. But Michelle, I'd love for you a couple different things that people ask because we have some time left over. Way to go on that one. Couple different things. Everybody wants to know the quote again. So if you could repeat the quote. I know someone put it in the chat, but I want you to repeat it.
I can repeat that quote. Let's see. I don't have it written down, but I will repeat it. So it says, now you put me on the spot and I can't remember. If a healthy person has a million dreams, but an unhealthy person has but only one.
So good. And Michelle, what would you say when you first came to your health coach and you were at a place where you were like, I really desperately need health? I mean, you were at a place, you were at rock bottom when you reached out. What would you say was the tipping point for you to go all in, not just partially in, but really go all in and lean into the system?
You know, that's a great question because I desired a different identity. I didn't realize it then, but I wanted to be somebody else. And that desire drove me to be that somebody else. So I was really rock bottom. I know Rachel and Danielle laugh at me. They bring up the story all the time, so I'm going to tell all of you. The first time that they spoke to me and did that celebration call, by the way, you guys, get on those celebration calls because they're so awesome, because you guys, this is so much to celebrate. For me, I didn't know I was celebrating. So I had a hoodie and I was in the dark, and I was depressed, and it was only a week into program. And so, you know, I was just starting to feel, you know, that fat burn and feel what it was like. And I hadn't got that energy yet. And obviously now I have it because I'm like, woo, but so that it was that point. I just wanted to be somebody else. And you've got to want that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what would you say was the turning point when you realized you were stepping into a new identity?
You know, it was interesting because there was just something that told me that I should coach. It was just something. And so I said, okay, I'll coach. And so my job that I have as a teacher now, I felt that I couldn't inspire as many, although I know that sounds kind of strange because as a teacher, you know, they inspire. But the kids that I work with, they're very difficult and they're in a bad place. And so my soul was unhappy. And when I was given that opportunity to share this with others, I realized that I was becoming a different person. I realized that this was amazing and I could touch so many lives. So I think that's when it pivoted for me.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for sharing. I hope that you leave this call with a fresh start, a fresh beginning. Really ponder those questions. Don't take this lightheartedly. This journey is about stepping into the new you, believing for something. Elaine, I was thinking of your story and I was thinking about, I too was always the big girl. I too was always the one who wanted, and you have to rewrite that. I'm no longer the big girl. I think the first time that hit me, I had been at my healthy weight for about, I think about 9 months. And I was sitting on a bench in a football stadium and my son was getting ready to play football. And I was sitting there and my rear end actually started hurting. Like it hurt because there was no padding there anymore. And one of the moms, I was like, man, are you guys uncomfortable? My rear is kind of hurting. And one of the moms goes, oh yeah, that's skinny girl problems, but you wouldn't know. And I was like, can you just say that again? can you pretty please just say that one more time? Just one more time, because like I've never been the skinny girl. And that was like that moment of realization, like, oh my gosh, I'm a new person. Guys, don't wait until you're the skinny girl or the skinny guy. Step into that identity. What Michelle talked to you about tonight is so important. It's that awakening, that spirit within you to drive after healthy, and don't stop, because you'll never arrive. 9.5 years later, we haven't arrived. We're still chasing healthy. So it's time for us to hop on our coach support call. Thank you so much to all of our clients for participating. If you're curious about coaching and you're wondering, hey, what does the training look like? We're literally going to log out and press the same Zoom link and hop back in. You're more than welcome to join us. If not, we will see you next week on our client calls. We love and adore you all. Thank you so much. Again, thank you, Elaine and Michelle, for sharing. We'll talk to you guys later.